Xylith's wings made soft clicking sounds as she walked down the metal hallway. The sound came from the small healing devices attached to her wing bones. Every step hurt, but she had learned not to show it on her face. The medical bay doors opened with a quiet hiss. Nurse Velka looked up from her computer screen and sighed. The old Velkrin female had seen Xylith walk through these doors every morning for 3 months now. Each time, the young Etherian had fresh breaks in her delicate wing bones. "Let me guess," Velka said in her gentle voice. "You fell down again?" Xylith nodded and climbed onto the examination table. Her wings spread out behind her, showing the rainbow colors that made her people so beautiful. But today, like every day, several bones had clean breaks. Someone had snapped them on purpose. Velka ran her scanner over the damaged wings. The green light showed exactly where each bone was broken. "These are the same breaks as yesterday," she said quietly. "And the day before that." Xylith stared at the wall and said nothing. "Child, you know I have to ask. Did someone do this to you?" "I hit the wall during flight practice," Xylith whispered. It was the same lie she told every morning. Velka knew it was a lie. In her 40 years as a nurse, she had seen thousands of injuries. She knew the difference between an accident and an attack. These breaks were too clean, too precise. Someone was hurting this girl on purpose. But Velka also knew the rules of Kepler Station Academy. The school was home to young beings from dozens of different species. Each species had their own ways of behaving. The Korvaxi were known for being rough and violent. The school leaders always said it was just their nature. The healing machine hummed as it worked on Xylith's wings. The broken bones would be fixed in an hour, but the pain would last all day. Tomorrow morning, someone would break them again. "There," Velka said when the machine finished. "Try to be more careful during flight practice." Xylith slipped down from the table. "Thank you, Nurse Velka." She walked back into the hallway, where her real day would begin. The corridors of Kepler Station were like a maze. Students from different worlds hurried to their classes. Most of them ignored Xylith completely. The Aetherians were known as a weak species. They were small, delicate, and preferred peace to fighting. Other species saw them as prey animals who belonged at the bottom of the food chain. This was especially true for species like the Korvaxi. Xylith heard heavy footsteps behind her before she saw them. Her stomach twisted with fear. She knew those sounds. "Well, well," said a deep voice. "Look who got her wings fixed again." Tak stepped in front of her, blocking the hallway. He was almost twice her size, with gray skin and sharp teeth. His 3 friends spread out behind him, making escape impossible. Thax was the son of War Chief Morvex, one of the most powerful Korvaxi leaders in the galaxy. His father sat on the Galactic Council and made decisions that affected billions of beings. This made Thax untouchable at the Academy. "Please," Xylith whispered. "I need to get to class." Thax laughed. "You need to learn your place, Wingrat." The Korvaxi grabbed her shoulders and pushed her against the wall. His friends held her arms while Thax examined her wings with fake interest. He said. "These look perfectly healed. That won't do at all." Xylith closed her eyes as she felt his claws grip her right wing. The other students walking by looked away and hurried past. No one ever helped her. No one ever tried to stop it. The first bone snapped with a sharp crack. Pain shot through her wing and down her spine. Thax moved to the next bone, then the next. He worked slowly, enjoying every moment of her suffering. "There we go," he said when he finished. "Much better. See you tomorrow morning, Wingrat." The Korvaxi pack walked away, laughing among themselves. Xylith slid down the wall and sat on the floor, trying not to cry. Her wings hung uselessly behind her, sending waves of pain through her small body. This had been her life for 3 months. Every morning, she got her wings healed. Every day, Thax broke them again. The school staff knew what was happening, but they did nothing. They said it was just Korvaxi nature. They told her to be stronger, to fight back, to avoid the bullies. But how could she fight back? Aetherians were not fighters. Their bones were hollow for flight, making them light but fragile. One punch from a Korvaxi could kill her. Xylith pulled herself to her feet and walked slowly toward her first class. Other students stared at her damaged wings but said nothing. This was normal now. This was how things worked at Kepler Station Academy. The academy was supposed to be the best school in the galaxy. The brightest young minds from every species came here to learn and grow together. The school's motto was unity through understanding. But there was no unity for Xylith. There was no understanding for her pain. Her teacher, Professor Nexus, barely looked up when she entered the classroom late. "Please take your seat, Miss Xylith." She sat in the back corner, as far from the other students as possible. The lesson was about galactic history. But Xylith could not focus. Her wings throbbed with pain, and all she could think about was tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, she would wake up and go to the medical bay. Nurse Velka would heal her wings with that sad look in her eyes. Then Xylith would walk back into the hallway, and Thax would be waiting for her. The cycle would continue. Every day. For as long as she stayed at this school, or until her wings were damaged so badly that they could never heal properly. That was what Thax wanted. He wanted to ground her permanently. To take away the one thing that made her feel free. As the class ended and students began to leave, Xylith stayed in her seat. She watched through the window as ships moved between the stars. Somewhere out there was her homeworld, where Aetherians could fly without fear, where bullies like Thax did not exist. But she could not go home. Her family had worked too hard to get her into this academy. They believed she could make a difference, could help bring their species respect in the galaxy. Instead, she was just a victim. Every single day. Xylith finally stood up and walked toward her next class. Tomorrow would bring more pain, more broken bones, more humiliation. It always did. Maya Chen was lost again. The corridors of Kepler Station Academy twisted and turned like a giant puzzle. Even after 2 weeks at the school, she still took wrong turns every day. She checked her tablet for the map, but the screen showed she was in a section that should not exist. The builders had probably added extra hallways after they made the maps. Maya sighed and picked a direction at random. Being human at this school was strange. There were only 3 humans in the entire academy, and Maya was the youngest. Most of the other students treated her like a curiosity. They stared at her smooth skin and asked weird questions about Earth. The other species seemed to think humans were harmless and boring. Teachers spoke to her slowly, as if she might not understand basic concepts. Students either ignored her completely or treated her like a pet. Maya did not mind being ignored. She was here to study, not to make friends. Her mother was Dr. Sarah Chen, a famous scientist who studied different alien species. Getting Maya into this school had taken years of paperwork and political meetings. She turned another corner and heard voices ahead. Someone was crying. Maya slowed down and listened carefully. "Please, I need to get to class," said a soft, scared voice. "You need to learn your place, Wingrat," replied a much deeper voice. Maya pressed herself against the wall and looked around the corner. What she saw made her stomach turn cold. A small, bird-like girl was trapped against the wall by 4 large gray aliens. Maya recognized them as Korvaxi from her xenobiology studies. She also recognized the girl as Xylith, the quiet Aetherian who sat alone in the cafeteria. The largest Korvaxi was holding Xylith's wing and examining it like a piece of meat. His friends held her arms, so she could not escape. "These look perfectly healed," the big one said. "That won't do at all." Maya watched in horror as he gripped one of Xylith's wing bones. There was a sharp crack, and Xylith cried out in pain. The Korvaxi moved to the next bone and broke it too. Maya's hands clenched into fists. On Earth, this would be called torture. But here, no one seemed to care. The few students who walked past, looked away, and kept going. The Korvaxi broke several more bones before they were satisfied. "See you tomorrow morning, Wingrat," the leader said. Then, they walked away, laughing like they had just played a fun game. Xylith slid down the wall and sat on the floor. Her beautiful rainbow wings hung broken behind her. She was trying hard not to cry, but tears rolled down her cheeks anyway. Maya stepped around the corner. "Are you okay?" she asked. Xylith looked up with wide, frightened eyes. When she saw Maya, her expression changed to something worse than fear. It was shame. "Please don't tell anyone," Xylith whispered. "Please just pretend you didn't see this." "But they hurt you," Maya said. Xylith shook her head quickly. "No one will believe you. And if they do, it will only make things worse for me." She struggled to her feet, trying not to show how much her wings hurt. "I have to go to class now. Please forget what you saw." Xylith limped away, leaving Maya alone in the hallway. Maya stood there for a long moment, trying to process what she had witnessed. On Earth, bullying happened. But not like this. This was systematic torture. Maya spent the rest of the day thinking about what she had seen. During lunch, she watched Xylith sit alone at a corner table. The girl barely touched her food and kept glancing nervously at the Korvaxi table across the room. After classes ended, Maya went to see her counselor. Miss Thyrix was a tall, blue alien from the Centauri species. She was supposed to help human students adjust to life at the academy. "I need to report something," Maya said. "I saw some Korvaxi students attacking an Etherian girl. They were breaking her bones on purpose." Miss Thyrix looked up from her paperwork with a bored expression. "Ah, you must mean young Thox and his friends." "Yes. They can be quite energetic." "Energetic?" Maya said. "They were torturing her." "Now, Miss Chen," the counselor said in a patient voice, "you must understand that different species have different ways of interacting. Korvaxi are naturally physical and competitive. It's just their nature. But they were hurting her deliberately." "Korvaxi play rough," Miss Thyrix explained. "It's how their species bonds and establishes social hierarchy. Miss Xylith should learn to be more assertive, or perhaps avoid areas where Korvaxi students gather." Maya stared at the counselor. "So you're saying it's Xylith's fault for being hurt?" "I'm saying that in a diverse community like ours, individuals must adapt to the reality of interspecies relations. Not every species can be accommodated in every situation." Maya left the counselor's office feeling sick. No one was going to help Xylith. The school officials either did not care or thought the torture was normal. That night, Maya used her computer to research both species. What she learned made her even angrier. Etherians healed quickly from most injuries, but repeated bone breaks caused permanent damage over time. If someone kept breaking Xylith's wings, she would eventually lose the ability to fly forever. Korvaxi were described as proud warriors who respected strength above all else. Their society was built on dominance and submission. They saw species like Etherians as natural prey. Maya also researched the students who were hurting Xylith. Tox was the son of War Chief Morvex, one of the most powerful leaders in Korvaxi society. His father sat on the Galactic Council and made decisions that affected entire star systems. No wonder the school would not act against him. Thax was politically untouchable. Maya spent the next few days observing the situation. Every morning, she saw Xylith go to the medical bay with broken wings. Every day, she watched the Korvaxi pack corner the girl and hurt her again. The pattern was always the same. Thox would grab Xylith's wings and break several bones with calculated precision, not enough to cause permanent damage, but enough to ground her and cause terrible pain. Other students walked by without stopping. Teachers did not patrol the corridors where the attacks happened. Security cameras were somehow never pointed at the right spots. Maya realized this was not random bullying. This was organized cruelty that the school was deliberately ignoring. On the 5th day of watching, Maya heard something that made her blood run cold. "I'm getting bored with the morning routine," Thox told his friends. "Maybe it's time we clipped her wings permanently." "During the cultural festival?" one of his friends asked. "Security will be distracted." "Exactly," Thax said with a cruel smile. "One final lesson about knowing your place in the food chain." Maya felt something change inside her chest. It was like a fire starting to burn. She had tried to work within the system, but the system was broken. The adults would not protect Xylith, so Maya would have to do it herself. That night, she made a decision that would change everything. She was just one small human girl. But she was not going to let this continue. Thax thought he was untouchable because of his father's power. He thought humans were weak and harmless. He thought wrong. Maya Chen was about to teach him the difference between being civilized and being defenseless. Maya spent 3 days preparing for what she knew would come. She had heard Tox talking about the cultural festival. He planned to damage Xylith's wings so badly that they would never heal properly. The academy's gym was empty most evenings. Maya went there after dinner to practice the fighting moves her older brother Jake had taught her back on Earth. Jake had studied martial arts for years, and always said that size did not matter if you knew how to fight smart. Use their weight against them, she remembered him saying. Find the weak spots. Move fast and hit hard. Maya practiced throws and kicks until her muscles ached. She studied videos on her tablet, learning about pressure points and joint locks. Most galactic species had never seen human fighting techniques. They expected claws and teeth, not precision and leverage. She also spent time researching Korvoxy anatomy. Despite their size and strength, they had vulnerabilities. Their joints worked the same way as most humanoid species. Their nerve clusters were in predictable locations. Their confidence made them careless. The cultural festival began on a Thursday. Students from every species performed dances, showed art, and shared food from their home worlds. The hallways were crowded with visitors and distracted security guards. Maya positioned herself in the corridor where Thox always cornered Xylith. She arrived early and hid behind a support beam, watching and waiting. At exactly 8:30 in the morning, she heard familiar footsteps. Xylith walked down the hallway with her freshly healed wings catching the morning light. She looked tired and afraid, as always. Heavy footsteps followed close behind. Thax and his 3 friends appeared around the corner, moving with the confidence of predators who had never faced real resistance. There's our favorite wing rat, Thax called out. Ready for your final flying lesson? Xylith pressed herself against the wall. Please. I haven't done anything wrong. You exist, Thox said. That's wrong enough. He grabbed her shoulders and slammed her against the metal wall. His friends took their usual positions, blocking escape routes and watching for teachers. Maya stepped out from behind the support beam. Let her go. The Korvaxi turned to look at her with surprise and amusement. A small human girl was trying to interfere with their business. Go back to your books, smooth skin, Thax growled. This doesn't concern your kind. You're hurting my friend, Maya said calmly. That makes it my business. Thax laughed, showing his sharp teeth. Your friend? You soft little prey species stick together, I suppose. Don't worry, there's enough pain for both of you. One of his friends, Drax, stepped toward Maya with claws extended. I'll handle the human. You finish the wing rat. Maya waited until Drax was close enough, then moved faster than he expected. She grabbed his extended arm, turned her body, and used his own momentum to throw him over her shoulder. He hit the metal floor hard and did not get up. The other Korvaxi stared in shock. Humans were supposed to be weak and slow. Impossible, Thox said. Lucky throw. The second friend, Vorthk, rushed at Maya with a roar of anger. She sidestepped his charge and drove her elbow into a nerve cluster just below his ribs. He dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Thax released Xylith and turned his full attention to Maya. You want to play with the big predators, little human? Let me show you what real strength looks like. He was bigger and stronger than Maya, but he fought like most galactic species. He relied on size and brute force, expecting his opponents to be intimidated. He had never faced someone trained in human combat techniques. Maya ducked under his first swing and punched him hard in the kidney. When he bent forward in pain, she grabbed his head and brought her knee up toward his face. Thox barely managed to block with his arms. You fight dirty, he snarled. I fight to win, Maya replied. The third friend, Grex, tried to grab Maya from behind. She felt him coming and dropped low, sweeping his legs. As he fell, she spun around and struck his throat with the edge of her hand. He collapsed, choking and unable to breathe properly. Now it was just Maya and Thox. The Korvaxi leader was bigger and stronger, but Maya could see fear in his eyes. None of his victories had ever fought back like this. Your father's power won't help you here, Maya said. It's just you and me. Thox charged with a scream of rage, all strategy forgotten. Maya waited until the last second, then stepped aside and caught his arm as he went past. She used his momentum to slam him face first into the wall where he had hurt Xylith so many times. Blood ran down the wall from Thox's broken nose. He turned around slowly, hatred burning in his eyes. "I'll kill you for this, human." "No," Maya said quietly. She moved in close, too fast for him to react. Her first punch broke his left wrist. Her second dislocated his shoulder. When he tried to strike back with his good arm, she caught it and applied pressure to his elbow joint until something snapped. Thax screamed and fell to his knees. Maya stood over him, breathing hard, but ready to continue if necessary. "Listen carefully," she said in a voice cold as space. "If you ever touch Xylith again, I will break every bone in your body. If your friends help you hurt anyone, I will break their bones too. Do you understand me?" Thox could only nod, his face twisted with pain and shock. Security guards arrived just then, drawn by the screams and noise. They found 3 young Korvaxi unconscious or writhing in pain. 1 human girl with bloody knuckles, and an Aetherian with undamaged wings. "What happened here?" the head guard demanded. Maya stepped protectively in front of Xylith. "They attacked us. I defended myself and my friend." The security chief, a Velcrin male named Captain Norix, looked at the scene with disbelief. 4 against 1, and the human had won. It should have been impossible. "Miss Chen, you'll need to come with us for questioning," he said. "I'll go wherever you want," Maya replied. "But first, someone needs to check on these 3. I think they'll need medical attention." As the medics arrived to tend to the injured Korvaxi, Maya looked back at Xylith. The Aetherian girl was staring at her with wonder and gratitude. For the first time in months, Xylith's wings were unbroken. For the first time in her life, someone had protected her instead of looking the other way. Maya knew she was about to face serious trouble. Attacking the son of a war chief would have consequences, but as she watched Xylith's wings flutter with joy, she decided those consequences were worth it. Some things were more important than following rules. Some people were worth fighting for. And sometimes, the galaxy needed to learn that humans were not as harmless as they looked. The emergency meeting was called within 2 hours. Maya sat in a chair that was too big for her, surrounded by school officials who looked very unhappy. Across from her sat Thox with his arm in a healing cast, his nose covered in bandages. Principal Vex, a tall Zentari with purple skin, read from his tablet. "Miss Chen, you are accused of assault against 4 fellow students. This is the most serious violence we have seen at this academy in decades." Maya said nothing. Her mother had taught her to stay quiet when adults were angry. "The son of War Chief Morvex requires surgery for his injuries." The principal continued. "This incident has created a diplomatic crisis between the academy and the Korvaxi Confederation." Through the window, Maya could see news ships arriving at the station. Word of the fight was spreading across the galaxy. A human child had defeated 4 young Korvaxi warriors. People wanted to know how such a thing was possible. The door opened and Dr. Sarah Chen walked in with 2 other humans. Maya's mother looked worried but not surprised. Behind her came Ambassador Williams and General Rodriguez, both from the Human Diplomatic Corps. "Sorry we're late," Dr. Chen said calmly. "We came as soon as we heard." Principal Vex looked uncomfortable. "Dr. Chen, your daughter has seriously injured 4 students. War Chief Morvex is demanding her expulsion and prosecution under Korvaxi law." "Before we discuss punishment," Ambassador Williams said, "perhaps we should discuss what actually happened here." A new voice spoke from the doorway. "Yes, let's discuss what happened." Everyone turned to see War Chief Morvex himself entering the room. The massive Korvaxi leader wore ceremonial armor and carried himself like the warrior he was. His presence filled the room with tension. "Father," Thox said weakly, "this human attacked us without warning." Morvex looked at his injured son with disgust. "Without warning? 4 trained Korvaxi warriors, defeated by 1 small human female?" He turned to Maya. "Tell me, young human, why did you attack my son?" Maya looked at her mother, who nodded encouragingly. I was protecting my friend. They were torturing her. Torturing? Morvex's voice was sharp. Every morning for 3 months, Maya said. They would break Xylith's wing bones to keep her from flying. Principal Vex shifted uncomfortably. War Chief. Young Korvaxi can be energetic. We believed this was normal social interaction. Normal? Morvex turned to stare at the principal. My son was breaking the bones of a helpless prey species for months. And you call this normal? Well, it's their nature to be physical. The war chief's roar silenced everyone in the room. Their nature? Their nature is to be warriors, not torturers of the weak. He turned back to Maya. You fought to protect someone weaker than yourself? Yes, sir. And you defeated 4 opponents who were larger and stronger than you? Yes, sir. Morvex studied her for a long moment. Show me how. I beg your pardon? Dr. Chen said. I want to see how this small human defeated trained Korvaxi youth. If she is as dangerous as my son claims, I must understand her methods. General Rodriguez stepped forward. War Chief, perhaps I can explain. Humans have different fighting techniques than most galactic species. Show me, Morvex repeated. What happened next shocked everyone in the room. General Rodriguez, a man in his 50s, asked Thox to stand up. Despite his injuries, the young Korvaxi was still larger and stronger than the human general. Attack me, Rodriguez said calmly. Thox looked confused but swung his good arm at the general's head. Rodriguez caught the arm, stepped to one side, and gently put Thox on the ground using leverage and precise pressure points. The entire movement took 3 seconds. Impossible, Morvex whispered. Ambassador Williams spoke up. War Chief. Humans are persistence predators. On our world, we hunted prey by chasing them until they collapsed from exhaustion. We learned to fight smart, not just strong. Dr. Chen opened her tablet and showed a video of human martial arts. We developed thousands of fighting systems over millions of years. They focus on technique, speed, and using an opponent's strength against them. Morvex watched the videos with growing amazement. Your species fights like this naturally? More than that, General Rodriguez said. Humans have strong pack-bonding instincts. When we adopt someone into our group, we protect them with everything we have. Maya saw Xylith as part of her pack. She risked her life for someone she barely knew. Ambassador Williams added. That's what humans do. The war chief turned to his son. Is this true? Has this girl been protecting the Etherian from your daily attacks? 1. Thax could not meet his father's eyes. She's just prey, father. Weak prey that needed to learn its place. Morvex's hand moved faster than anyone could see. The slap echoed through the room like a gunshot. Thox fell backwards, his chair toppling over. You disgrace our entire species. The war chief snarled. Korvaxi are warriors, not bullies. We fight enemies who can fight back, not helpless children. He turned to Principal Vex. You will provide me with recordings of every incident involving my son and this Aetherian. I want to see months of evidence that you ignored. War Chief, surely we can handle this internally. You had 3 months to handle it internally, Morvex said coldly. Instead, you enabled torture and called it normal behavior. Now the galaxy is watching, and they see Korvaxi as monsters. Dr. Chen spoke quietly. War Chief, my daughter is prepared to face consequences for her actions. But she was protecting an innocent person who had no one else to help her. Morvex looked at Maya again. In Korvaxi culture, we respect strength above all else. But we also respect honor. Your daughter showed both when she defended the weak against the strong. He pointed at Thox, who was still on the floor. My son showed neither strength nor honor. He will face consequences under Korvaxi law for his cowardice and cruelty. You're punishing your own son? Principal Vex asked. I am teaching him what it means to be Korvaxi, Morvex replied. And I am learning what it means to be human. Wins. Wins. The war chief walked over to Maya and knelt down so they were at eye level. Young warrior, You have shown my son and my people something important. True strength is not about being the biggest or meanest. It is about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. I just did what felt right, Maya said quietly. That, Morvex said with something that might have been a smile, is exactly what makes humans so dangerous and so valuable. As the meeting continued, news of the incident spread throughout the galaxy. The story of a human girl who fought 4 Korvaxi to protect her friend became a symbol. Some species saw it as proof that humans were more dangerous than anyone realized. Others saw it as proof that humans could be trusted to stand up for what was right. Maya did not know it yet, but she had just changed how the galaxy viewed her entire species. Humans were no longer seen as harmless and boring. They were seen as friends worth having and enemies worth fearing. Most importantly, bullies across dozens of worlds began to think twice before attacking the weak. After all, there might be a human watching who would not look the other way. 3 weeks later, Maya walked through the corridors of Kepler Station Academy and marveled at how much had changed. Students who used to ignore her now nodded respectfully as she passed. Some even asked if she could teach them the fighting moves she had used against the Korvaxi. The academy itself was different too. Principal Vex had been forced to resign after the Galactic News Services revealed months of ignored bullying reports. The new principal, a fair-minded Centauri named Dr. Lixa, had implemented strict anti-bullying policies with actual consequences. Security cameras now covered every hallway. Teachers patrolled regularly during breaks. Most importantly, students knew that violence against the weak would not be tolerated or explained away as cultural differences. Maya found Xylith in their usual meeting spot, a quiet alcove near the observatory deck. The Aetherian girl was reading a book about human history. Her beautiful wings spread comfortably behind her. Did you finish the chapter about Earth's martial arts? Maya asked as she sat down. Xylith nodded enthusiastically. I can't believe humans developed so many different fighting styles. On my world, we only have ceremonial dances. Maybe you could create fighting dances, Maya suggested. Combine Aetherian grace with human techniques. Actually, Xylith said shyly, I've been practicing some of the moves you taught me. Want to see? They moved to an empty area where Xylith demonstrated a series of movements that looked like a beautiful dance. But Maya could see the martial arts techniques hidden within the flowing motions. It was elegant and deadly at the same time. That's amazing, Maya said. You could teach other Aetherians to defend themselves. Some of the older students are already interested, Xylith replied. They've been asking me about the human girl who saved me. Maya felt her cheeks grow warm. She still wasn't used to being famous across the galaxy. News services had run the story for weeks. Human child defeats Korvaxi warriors to protect friend. It had changed how many species viewed both humans and the concept of interspecies friendship. Heavy footsteps approached their alcove. Maya tensed automatically, but relaxed when she saw who it was. Thox walked slowly toward them, his arm still in a healing brace. The once arrogant bully looked tired and uncertain. Behind him walked his former friends, all showing signs of their injuries from weeks ago. Maya, Thox said quietly. May we speak with you? Maya stood up, ready to fight if necessary. But there was no aggression in the Korvaxi's posture. If anything, he looked ashamed. What do you want? She asked. To apologize, Thox said, the words coming slowly. My father has taught me much about honor in the past weeks. I understand now that what I did to Xylith was not strength. It was cowardice. Xylith remained seated, her wings trembling slightly. These 4 had tormented her for months. Fear was not easily forgotten. Thox noticed her reaction and knelt down, making himself smaller and less threatening. Xylith, I cannot undo the pain I caused you. But I want you to know that it will never happen again. My father has convinced me to change my ways. Maya had heard about Thox's punishment from the other students. War Chief Morvex had forced his son to work in the academy's medical bay, helping care for injured students. He had to clean equipment, assist nurses, and see firsthand the suffering that violence could cause. My father also wishes to speak with you both, Thox continued. He is proposing a cultural exchange program between Korvaxi and human military academies. Young warriors from both species could learn from each other. Learn what? Maya asked. Humans could teach us precision and technique, Thax said. We could teach humans about pack tactics and strategic thinking. Both species would become stronger. Drax, one of Thax's former friends, stepped forward nervously. We have also been watching how you and Xylith became friends. Korvaxi do not understand friendship well. We form packs based on dominance and fear, but you showed us something different. Maya looked at Xylith, who gave a small nod of encouragement. Friendship isn't about dominance, Maya said carefully. It's about trust and caring for each other. You protect your friends because you want to, not because you have to. This is what my father means when he talks about human pack bonding, Thax said. You adopted Xylith into your pack and protected her with deadly force. It was impressive. Maya almost smiled at that. In Korvaxi culture, being called impressive was high praise. We would like to learn this friendship, Vorth said quietly. If you would teach us. Maya looked around at the 4 Korvaxi who had once terrorized Xylith every day. They seemed sincere, but trust would take time to build. You can start by apologizing to everyone else you've hurt, she said finally. And by helping protect other students who are being bullied. We will, Thax promised. My father says that true warriors protect the weak, not prey upon them. After the Korvaxi left, Maya and Xylith sat in comfortable silence for a while. Through the observatory windows, they could see ships arriving and departing from the station. Do you think they really mean it? Xylith asked. I think they're trying to, Maya said. Thax's father scared them more than I did, and Korvaxi respects strength. Maybe they can learn to respect other kinds of strength too, like the strength to be kind? Xylith asked. Or the strength to forgive, Maya replied. That evening, Maya received a message from her mother. Dr. Chen was returning to Earth to brief the government about recent events. The incident at Kepler Station had changed human-alien relations in ways no one had expected. Your actions have opened doors we never thought possible, her mother had written. Species that once saw humans as weak now see us as potential allies. More importantly, you've shown the galaxy that doing the right thing matters more than following the rules. Maya didn't feel like a hero. She had just seen someone hurting her friend and reacted instinctively. But if that simple act could make life better for other students, then it was worth all the attention and consequences. The next morning, Maya walked to her first class through corridors that were safer than they had been in years. Students from different species talked and laughed together. Bullies had learned to think twice before attacking the weak, and in the medical bay, Nurse Velka smiled as she realized her morning routine had changed. Instead of healing broken wings, she was teaching a self-defense class for smaller species. Maya paused at a window to watch ships moving between the stars. Somewhere out there, word was spreading about what had happened at Kepler Station. Other schools were changing their policies. Other bullies were learning new lessons about the consequences of cruelty. She felt a gentle touch on her shoulder and turned to see Xylith beside her. Ready for our flight practice? Xylith asked, her wings shimmering in the starlight. Maya grinned. Always. As they walked toward the practice area, other students fell into step behind them. Aetherians wanting to learn self-defense, young Korvaxi hoping to understand friendship, and beings from dozens of other species who had been inspired by an unlikely alliance. The galaxy was changing, one friendship at a time. And it had all started with a human girl who refused to look the other way when someone needed help. Maya Chen had taught the universe an important lesson. Sometimes the smallest person can cast the longest shadow, especially when they're willing to stand up for what's right.